Hello. Bonjour, guten Tag, and all that jazz. You're like a kid, like fingers on lips.
It's not. It's because we just took a break. Because you might be aware that we do record these.
We just record them all at once.
I mean, obviously I've got the same jumper on.
We just wear the same clothes all the time because we're minging.
But I had some handful of nuts, and then was
These
very
nuts. Sorry.
conscious of them not being in my teeth. So I wanted to be able to have a drink. But Lauren was like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Yes."
Get on.
I think so. But now I'm still like, "Oh, maybe I'm not actually."
Is there anyone else the same as me where when you're, because I have the horrible experience of watching myself in the camera when we're doing this.
Yeah, I love it. She turned this around because it actually was on me initially.
Yeah.
And then we turned it around.
Yeah,
And I love it.
Yeah, because you can't see yourself. But I can see myself. And when I'm tired, I'm always like, oh, I need Botox. Oh, I want lip filler. Oh, I want... Yeah, so I'm there today. I'm like, oh, I want a facelift. I can see that I'm like, just getting a wee bit saggy. Because I'm almost 34 years old. But that's what
there's so
happens.
much to unpack there, but I'm just not going into
It's
it.
when I'm tired.
Oh,
like,
no, it is. And your brain's a bitch.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't feel like I've got a top lip today. Like, where is it? It is. I hope people are watching. Make far more sense.
Maybe we need to turn this. Is this the third week of January madness?
Is that what it is?
It will be by the time this goes out, won't it?
Yeah,
We're in the first week, but by the time this goes out, maybe we'll just...
People will be on the 464th day of January by that point.
I've got a question, because we are going to go on to a particular topic today, but I've got a question. Are you a believer of that in terms
Normally.
of... yeah.
Normally, I'm like, we're on the 3,742nd day of January. Not many to go, but this year, what are we on now? What is it? Is it the 9th? I don't know. Let's check. Fucking 9th of January. How are we like almost 10 days into the new year?
I think it is because that week that we talked about last week, when we went away on the Sunday. Oh. I feel like, because that was it was the 2nd, wasn't it, on the Friday?
Yeah.
So I feel like I was really fortunate to be away. We went to the Lake District for a couple of nights, which was just glorious. But I know that when we came back, and then we went straight back into work, and actually, if you think, that pulled you into that kind of routine as well, didn't it?
Yeah, being straight
because we needed to be aware. I feel like this week's I blinked.
It's flown by.
Yeah, I've got a number of things I need to do.
Yeah, we said, was it this morning or last night? We were like, we could do with an extra day.
Yes,
this week,
because we've got so much to catch up with each other, haven't we? Yeah. And we've got so many exciting things, thoughts, plans, everything that's happening, conversations. I've got people I need to catch up with, people that I love that I've not spoken to, because Christmas and New Year was just. Yeah. I feel like mine was just. It was jam packed.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw every child.
Yeah.
Which I don't mean in the world. I just mean of our family.
There's a lot of them.
But there is a lot of them, isn't there? So we did
grandchildren.
Yeah, we visited everybody. It was our year. We did a little bit of a mix, didn't we? People came to us, we went to them. But yeah, it's been a wee bit mad.
It's a wee bit busy.
It has. So yeah, we want to know, because actually the last few years for me, I haven't felt like there've been, 4,874 days in January. I literally am like, what is going on?
Yeah, we're already.
What is happening with January? It's quick. So yeah. Anyway, that was an aside. Hello.
What's the saying? About time go. Time flies when you're having fun. That's what I was trying to figure
That's
out.
what it must be then.
It's tucked in here somewhere. My little inner Laurens were like rifling through the filing cabinets, like.
There's a saying there somewhere.
Quick, find it.
I like the fact that even in the midst of all of this, we can still giggle.
Oh my God. Do you know what? If anybody ever comes on and we're having a serious podcast, call the police who've been kidnapped.
No, but actually some of the podcasts that are going to be serious, I would imagine, with some of our guests potentially.
Yeah, I know, but the worst ones of those ones is that we start laughing still. All the ones that we've done that are super... Like, do you remember that one we did back on Body Dysmorphia? We started cackling, and then we say, that's terrible, isn't it? Because we're about to do a really serious podcast. Oops.
Maybe the disclaimer for ours should be, don't come and listen if you want serious.
Yeah, if you...
I mean, we try.
We talk about serious topics, just... in our way. I think that's important. We're not gonna manipulate you into being emotional if you don't want to. You can be. We're here for you, but also lol at life.
If you're here for the real stuff,
yeah,
of us, this is what we're like.
This is what it's actually like to live with us.
Who's already thinking that maybe you wouldn't want to do a road trip with us?
Oh my god, dear Channel 4 maybe, not BBC. BBC's a bit like gritty drama. But who did the what's their names? Gino, Gordon Ramsay and Fred.
Yeah.
Who did them? They travelled the world. Was it Channel 4?
No, was that ITV? I don't. Is it
know.
ITV or see Time
Time
shows?
ITV
shows where I am, how old I am, and where I'm from. Nineties. Oh my god.
Anyway, if one of the television companies would like to pay us a handsome sum to travel the world and film us while we do it, I'm in.
To the blondes on tour.
I think that'd be funny as fuck.
Do you remember when we first got started? You will remember this, but just to share this, I just had another image of. Do you remember I used to talk about how I had this image in my head of Blondes Restoration, and Blondes Restoration, and then there would be this moving little element.
It was Blondes Restoration conversation. Blah 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 blah.
And it was just all of these Blondes Restoration tour, Blondes Restoration conversation, Blondes Restoration podcast, Blondes Restoration
media.
Yeah, media,
which is officially launched.
It is. Do you want to just quickly say something about that, because I do feel it's important?
Yeah, no. What the fuck have I done? I'm just kidding. I love it. So for the past 2 years, I have had the plan to launch a digital media agency. So an agency that supports companies with social media, marketing, ads, SEO, and we've officially launched. So at the minute we're starting layer by layer. So at the minute we are taking people on for done for you social media services. So if you are a coach, a business owner, and you know that your story is more than the shitty stuff you see on social media, and you think to yourself, I don't want to do that because it wouldn't be able to capture who I am. Hello, I'm Lauren, and I would like to say, yeah, I fucking can. What did I call myself? The translator is what I'm calling myself. Because I take all of the stories and the stuff inside your head, turn it into sellable content. That's the point. Because it's really hard when you don't know what you're supposed to say and you don't know what magic is. So it's all beginning, and it all we talked about the values actually, because the values underneath it all are creativity, giving you the space to be creative, and that really leans into the whimsy that we were talking about in the last episode. Community, because this is about connecting with people, building real relationships. We are very much against manipulative marketing, and that is a core value of this facet specifically.
Can I just say one thing about that really has been in my mind for ages, because I watch often where I'll get emails where people are like, you've got 24 hours, you've got this long to kind of do it. I don't want to do that ever as a coach.
It's illegal.
Yeah, well, I just feel...
Fake urgency. I mean, so I will tell people if things are running out, but I'll do it from like, look, I just need to let you know that this offer's going to end in 7 days. But I'll be I'll if you've read my emails, you'll know that I'll say I'm being transparent because it is actually worth this amount of money. I put this discount on because it was Black Friday, but I extended it because I didn't want you to feel rushed.
Yeah.
But it is now over.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a difference between transparency with things and timings and cost and value, and manipulation, which is like, oh, there's only 2 spots left. Actually, nothing's been sold. That's just a flat out fucking lie. And it is actually illegal. I don't know if it's illegal in this country, but Canadian laws are definitely stronger than ours. We don't want to do that.
Most definitely. And
I also want to promise you anything we can't promise.
Yeah.
Like, I promise you that I can promise you all of the things that we say we can do, but I can't promise you the results.
No, definitely not. And I think that's why for me, it's very much, I'll say to any potential new client that comes to me, is that, go away, have a think about things for 7 days. Within that time, come back to me if you're thinking, yep, want to get started. But I also understand if you need a little bit more time. Exactly. Yeah. Because it is an investment in you. Yeah.
And one of the things actually that really stresses me out, that for a lot of the coaches that I was kind of talking to, for myself, in the sort of strategy side, and one of them said something, and I was like, look, I'll just be really honest, I'm not in a position where I've got the funds for this kind of program at the minute, but I really appreciate you reaching out. And their response was like, what it was basically you just don't want it bad enough. And I was like, what a fucking privileged position to be in to say that. And to assume that someone who says they can't afford it is what, lying or making frivolous choices instead. Like, as somebody said, I watched a reel where one of these coaches was saying like, oh, how do you handle objections? So if someone says, I need to go away and talk to my husband about this, what do you say? And she was giving you this spiel to be like, you know, does your husband want you to do well? Does your husband trust you? Does your, like, and all this kind of stuff. And it was super manipulative to get this person. If I was going to drop a few £100 on something, I would go and speak to my husband about that. Because that would be an investment that as a family we'd need to agree on. Because at the minute we have so many other things happening, it might become to a point where that's small change, you know, fingers crossed. But at the minute it isn't. And any kind of investment of over a certain amount, I would go and talk to him about.
Yeah.
Just because it's fair, because we're a partnership in this life, you know? And if anybody said that to me on the screen, if I was chatting about joining a coach program and they're like, oh, you don't know bad enough, or maybe, you know, does your husband hold you back? I'd just put the phone down immediately. But it happens all of the time. It's what people are taught in sales, like to you know, push through. And I'm just like, oh, no. So anyway, so that's the community and connection part.
And
then the final one is curiosity. Because curiosity, I believe, number one, is the key to whimsy.
Yeah.
I also believe it's the key to self-compassion. And I think it's the key to realising, you know how everyone goes, I just don't know what I'd say. That is the biggest load of tosh.
Yeah.
Like, you've got so many things to say. Anyone who's been alive more than 18 years has got so many stories and so many tiny nuggets of gold that people don't realise are hiding inside of them. Like, there's these little things that need to be dusted off because you don't realise that people connect over the tiniest of things. Like, you know, I think I posted on Threads the other day, like I don't know if you remember them, but I was obsessed with them when I was a kid. Worry dolls.
Yes,
So,
the little.
Yeah, the tiny little wooden Guatemalan worry dolls. And like, if people are listening, you'll know that you used to get them in museum gift shops. That's where you used to get. And I used to buy them a lot. And I mean, that probably says a lot about me as a child. But I used to buy them whenever we went to like museums with school.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'd see. And the aim of them is you speak your worries to them and you put them under your pillow at night and they take your worries away.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, and they're beautiful. And there is actually an app, a worry doll app now. I know, it's really cute. I've got it. And you get a little worry doll and you can tell your worries to it and it goes, I've got that for you now. You don't need to worry about that anymore. And it's just lovely. But that tiny little, that had nothing to do with business specifically, but it does tell you something about who I am. It does tell you about who I am as a person. It does tell you that I'm probably not going to be someone who shames you for being anxious. It does tell you that I've dealt with worry and anxiety in my life. And it's these tiny little things that you don't realise are telling people who you are. And for a lot of us who are creatives, coaches, you know, artists, people whose work is built on the core of who they are as a person, because there's some people that this won't work for. If you've built I don't know, a beauty company that's not based on yourself, it's based on something else, then this might not be the right thing for you. But if you're a photographer because no one could quite capture the wedding photos that you loved, if it's built on your humanness and your core and your story, and then you'll be shocked. And that's what the curiosity is. It's about getting curious about you.
It's so true though, because that's one of the things in our working relationship that the more you've developed with that and really understood about what you love and what that means to you, and got more skilled at doing that, Lauren, I've got to say, the more that's pulled it out of me, and the more that I'm more confident and comfortable with who I am and what it is that I want to do as a coach, and how I want my business, my side of the business, to be. And it's like, and I think this is part of this as well, the podcasting and the conversations and the stories that I remember now. And somebody said that to me recently, about that's one of the things that they love. It's the little stories. It's the things that you know,
the realness.
It is the realness of it. It's, you know, and I think for me, you know, just touching on what you said there about, you know, understanding who you are, that you know, there is this part of you that you almost honor this anxiety, this part. You didn't talk about the worry dolls, like they're like, oh, I shouldn't have this story to share. It's like, no, I know that this is what that was about. And we've talked a bit a little bit about your past. And I don't think we've really gone into our history a lot. And I think for both of us, it might be a good thing at some point. That whole part about speaking those worries, and then actually the fact that you would never shame anybody for that. What I would say is that's because you wouldn't shame yourself.
Yeah.
And I think, because I know we want to talk about something around this as well, the more that you've understood yourself. And I think that's a really big thing, because I think where things changed massively for me was in my mid-30s, when I went and did the counselling degree, and I realised that I'd shamed myself for a long time for my emotions, and particularly the ones that society said I shouldn't have. And that's been the bit that the minute that I started to do that, I think it really changed life. It massively changed my life. I'm not saying I think it massively changed my life, because I realised other people had a right to that as well. And I think that's it. And I think it comes back to what you're saying then, that for me, having you work in the way that you do, because please, anyone out there that's listening to this, that is, somebody that's got a business that is really, you are at the heart of it, and that I would say reach out to Lauren, because I adore. I'll say something. We'll be in the middle of a conversation and I'll maybe say a little story. She goes, "Oh, there's a reel in that." And I've not even seen it, but just from her saying that, things get created, and it's that beauty. Now I've got Lauren on tap, which is chef's kiss, to be able to do that, but 100%.
Yeah. One of the things you mentioned then as well was about the confidence. So you become more confident in saying like who you are and that kind of thing. And this is the piece that I was explaining to someone the other day, because when we look at marketing, like we need to fill these boxes. So we need to post on social media. I need to make reels. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. And then we look at what other people have done. And then what we're doing is we're trying to fit ourselves up into those boxes. And a lot of the time, because we're different, because every human's different, because we haven't looked actually very deep, because we haven't got curious, we don't fit them. Or we find something that fits in the boxes and then people don't respond to that very well. And what happens is you end up convincing yourself that it's actually because you're not very good at this. So, when you're doing this on a surface level over and over again, you're kind of like, you convince yourself that your offers aren't very good. You convince yourself that maybe that needs to change. Maybe, maybe I do need to do another course. Maybe I do need to get another qualification. Maybe I do. And I say this because that's what I was doing, was it was like, oh, actually, I don't have the experience. Oh, I don't have that. I need to do that first. And you kind of get into this really natural place where you second guess yourself. It's like a really, just like a habit, like a rhythm of being like, oh, maybe I need to question the path I'm on. When you're willing to get curious about it, when you're willing to get curious about like, why are you building this? What made you start it? Who was your favorite teacher when you were a kid and why? And how does that show up in the work that you're doing? What if somebody shadowed you for the day? What would the piece that would go, oh, I didn't know you did this. What would that look like? And it's these tiny little moments that you need someone to pull out of you, really, And all of a sudden, this little bank of evidence that you've got of your experience, of the qualifications that you have that aren't maybe written, but you realise that you do this empathy work with your kids every day. You are the person that the people in your office come to when they're having a hard day, and you realise that, oh, hang on, I do have a lot of experience in that. And you start to realise that your expertise and your conviction in your business is so much wider. And that's the curiosity bit, is that it's like you're open to getting curious about what else you need, but you're also open to what else you've already got. And that's the bit that's like, oh, the foundation it gives you for being like, so I've questioned my ability constantly. And this Blonde's restoration media has been in the pipeline for years, for more than 2 years of like thinking about doing this. But I've always been like, oh, well, no, I need to wait until I've got, And since starting this method of social media support and strategy support for business owners, I've realized I have plenty of experience to do this. Like I have everything I need and the evidence, and it's been there. So that's what it gives you. It gives you the confidence to go, no, you're right, I can do that. And to really sink into it, which is really nice. Stop being a perfectionist about it.
A perfectionist. Yeah, because actually that's the way we wanted to kind of take this conversation.
Yeah.
When we first got started, wasn't it? We were chatting about this beforehand.
Yeah.
So we have a bit of a conversation before. What are we going to talk about? And you were talking about perfectionism.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm a chronic perfectionist. I'm the kind of so I was the kid who would colour in and tear the page out if I went outside the lines so that people couldn't see it. Yeah, I was that person. And now it shows up very differently now because it's you probably wouldn't look at me and think I'm a perfectionist because I don't have perfect hair. I'm not always like I'm not outwardly perfectionistic. I don't know if that's the word, but it is now. But like I might not start something if I don't know how I'm going to finish it. Because then I'm like, well, you know. And it's interesting actually because the whimsy, the painting that I did of the door on the door, that like it's not finished, and pushing myself to be like, no, I want it on the door now, even if it's not finished. It's challenging that part of me that's a perfectionist. And I told you about this. I had a realization the other day. Please tell me if you do this kind of thing. So, if you know me and my husband, you'll know that the fact that my husband doesn't really cook is a massive bugbear in our relationship. And I understand it. I get why. Like, he never had to cook. He wasn't taught it growing up. And then, you know, he had a very different upbringing to me. He went to boarding school, so he was cooked for 3 times a day at school. Like, he didn't ever learn to cook. And I learned to cook quite young. And I would cook for our siblings if you were out.
Yeah, because you enjoyed
I did
it
a lot
as
of
well,
cooking,
didn't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I know how to cook, and it really fucks me off that Dave doesn't cook. So basically, the way it works in my house is, if I haven't planned the meal, we're getting takeaway, which isn't always something I want to do. It's not that I want to cook or get takeaway. It's that sometimes I want to be cooked for. Like, I want someone to make me a nutritious meal that I'm going to enjoy, that isn't, you know,
and takes it into
shit.
account the fact that you're celiac.
Yeah, and cares for the fact that I've got these needs and all that kind of stuff. And I find it really hard that Dave doesn't do it. And I had a realization though. I don't know if we were in the conversation about something, but I had this realization a little while ago that I am holding him to perfectionistic standards. So I realized that he will every now and again get this urge to try this like little bit of confidence that he goes, you know, I'm going to try and cook something. And it never turns out great. And it's not that it's not great. Sometimes it's all right, but it's not like it just makes me sound like such a dick. But it's not like me. It's not like where it's just, you know, well thought through. And he has to ask questions a lot. You know, he has to like ask about like, oh, how would you do this? What would you do? And I get really annoyed because I'm like, you're a grown up, and I don't want to have to answer this. I don't have to teach you this. Like, and I both validate that because I don't want to have to be teaching someone to cook.
No,
I don't want to do that. Like, it annoys me that I learned when I was so young, and now I'm having to teach someone again. Like, it annoys me. And I have to accept that he was never taught how to do it. And if he's going to learn how to do something, he's going to have to be bad at it first.
could I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's the annoyance?
What do you mean?
So what is it? What's that saying to you? You know, you're saying you get annoyed about having to teach him.
Yeah, I think it's that weaponized incompetence thing. I think sometimes I'm like, there's it's hard to strike a balance between being compassionate and being like, I acknowledge that you don't know this and I want to give you the space to learn it. And if I didn't know it, I'd just learn. So like, because if I learn a new recipe, if I have a new recipe and I want to try it, and there's something in the recipe that I don't understand or I don't know, or an ingredient that I haven't used before or whatever, I'll just fucking Google it. I'll just Google it. I'll Google it and I'll go on and I'll find out how am I supposed to use it. Like, could I switch it out for something if I can't get hold of it? You know, I'll have read the full method before I start, so I know if I need to be prepared. Like, just little things. And he won't do that. So halfway through a recipe, he's like, oh, well, have we got this? And we don't have it. And that annoys the fuck out of me because it just feels like, I don't know. I don't know what that feeling is. It's just annoyance. That's what it is. because it annoys me that. Don't add to my decision fatigue. Like, there's a level. Am I happy to teach you some of it and to give you this? Yes. But there's a lot of this you could do yourself, but you're just expecting it from me. Why are you looking at me like that? I don't like it.
I was listening. That was my listening face.
It was like this.
Oh.
Do you disagree?
No, not at all. I was thinking what was behind it, actually.
Behind
I don't know, I just got a sense of it. You know, when you were saying a little bit earlier about how it feels like, well, you didn't say this, but the words were, it feels like you don't matter. Because he's not making the same effort that you absolutely make and that you've had to make forever. So I guess my brain, what I felt, so my apologies, because my brain did drop. I felt it drop, but it wasn't acute. I wasn't not disagreeing. That was a look of, I could feel myself going into, there's another layer.
Yeah.
There's another layer beneath the annoyance. There's another, almost like, yeah, that, you know, when you were saying about that perfection, the way you hold, the standards you hold yourself to.
Yeah.
There's almost like this is how it should be.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, where did that
I think it comes from, because obviously we talked before about being a kid, and being the good kid often means you get missed because you just easier, do you know? And I know that when we did the school episode, we talked about that's my worry for Arlo, because he's so placid and chill that he's gonna like go under the radar, because sometimes that's kind of how I felt for myself. So I'm used to being independent, because that's just something that if I want something done, I know that I can do it myself. I'm also learning I don't have to, and that I can ask for help and things like that, so that's fine. So, but that's like, I guess that's kind of underneath it, because it is the part of me that's like, so I'm the person who can do anything, and I don't say that big-headed, but if something needs to be done, I'll just learn how to do it. Like, you know, like if we need a tech thing fixing, I won't ask for help until I know I need help.
Yeah.
I'll do it myself first, and I'll try it. And I think that's the piece that stresses me out, where I'm trying to balance that against the piece that wants to be compassionate for him and be like, because I want us to be in a position where he feels comfortable cooking, because, you know, HelloFresh, and you get those, you get a recipe card with them. That he did really well with those, because they were already measured out and cut and that kind of thing, and he could follow that, like, and it explains in very, very clear detail everything. And when he does one of those, he loves it, and he loves that the food comes out really well and that it's really good. So there's obviously, I can feel it from him, it's like a fear that he doesn't know what he's doing and he doesn't like that. So it makes sense to ask the person in the house who does. And when I'm already giving a lot of energy to a lot of things, it's, for me, my automatic reaction would be, let me try this myself first, then I'll ask for help. His automatic reaction is, well, I know you're there and I can ask for help. And it's a bit of a, I don't know what that is, like I don't know. Like, it's like,
where do you feel
it's
that?
here, like across my shoulders, like I can feel it as a tense there, and it's like I'm pointing just above my boobies to anyone watching, like just in the inside of my shoulders.
It's interesting, it's the inside of your shoulders,
here,
isn't it? And actually watching your shoulders come far, like you're ready for.
Yeah, and it's like, I just want to be like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to, do it yourself. Just do it yourself. Just do it yourself. And it's all, and I can feel myself wanting to say, grow up. That's and I don't want to do that, because I don't, how interesting to know that I'm like working really hard to be in touch with my inner child. And I can see his a lot of the time when he's feeling overwhelmed and things, and that's really changing in our relationship. But being this point, and it is just in the cooking. It's just the cooking. And I don't know what it is about the cooking. I say that food for me is a massive thing. So I really struggle when I'm hungry. Like, I find it really hard to be regulated when I'm hungry. So I like have always, and I think it's because I struggled so much with food as a kid. So I felt hungry quite a lot, because people would cook for me and then say I was fussy, but they didn't understand that it was worse than that. Like, so if somebody made mince and dumplings, I physically could not have eaten the mince. Like, my body would physically
the texture and stuff like that,
physically
you
couldn't do it.
could you?
But I got called an attention seeker a lot. Like, I have a lot of sort of trauma around. I remember being in school once and we had sausages and mashed potato, and I ate the mashed potato and that was a little bit lumpy. And how funny, because I must have been, this is at primary school, so I must have been 7 or 8 or something. And I remember eating the mashed potato and then trying the sausages, but the sausages had a bit of gristle and I couldn't manage it. And I didn't want to eat it, so I went to eat my dessert. And I remember this dinner lady stood over me. She was like, "You can't have your dessert till you finish your dinner." And I was like, "I can't eat the sausages though." She was like, "Well, then you can't have your dessert." And I was like, so then I tried to eat the sausages and I was sick all over my tray and therefore didn't get dessert because I was sick. And she was like, "Oh, an attention seeker." So being hungry was something that I was kind of used to. So then when I got older and I found foods that were safe, so things like McDonald's and pizza and the thing is, I know they're not healthy, or at least if you eat them very regularly, I know that they're not great for you, but the knowledge that a chicken nugget is going to be a chicken nugget and it's going to taste the same every time, the safety that comes in that is incredibly comforting. So I have certain foods that are like that. Then I became celiac and that got thrown in the bin because then it was like
all the safety foods that you'd had,
everything's gone.
Touch, which is
and everyone's like, "Oh, well, just try lentil dal, just try." And I'm like, no, like I don't think people understand that my body. Do you know how hard it was for me to try gravy? Like I was 21 before I tried gravy because I couldn't, because I was forced to eat it as a kid. But and I remember being forced when I was in Scotland to eat square sausages, and it was like one of the most traumatic experiences of my life because I just couldn't do it. So then so it's a big thing for me to know that I've got safe foods.
I can really notice
so it's a big deal.
Yeah, I can notice it.
Like it's a big thing. So then for me, I think I always remember being like, I just want to marry someone who can cook for me. And then I don't mean unfortunately, but do you know what I mean? Like I met Dave and I fell in love with him, yeah. And he's just such a great human and we get along just so well. And and this like our relationship is so good, and there's this one little piece that it's like he doesn't have the knowledge or the expertise to meet that inner child of mine that needs to be cared for in that way specifically. So then it fucks me off when he asks for help on things that I perceive as easy, and it's interesting that I'm like, we are, because I've recognized that I'm holding him to that standard, and it's like we're starting to change and I'm starting to say yes. So
can I just say something? Right, right, look at the energy.
I know. And that wasn't at all where we thought this podcast was going to go, so thanks for being on that journey with me. I'm all right.
I think there's a lot we could unpack in terms of the history, and maybe that's where we go at other times when you're ready to do that. Something you did say to me a little bit earlier that you've not mentioned now, so I don't know if it's important, was about the difference between how you would treat your son, my grandson, in comparison to how you would treat Dave. Do you feel that's relevant to share that?
Yeah, because I said, because my little boy's almost 4, and I said if Arlo went and made me a cake and it was full of eggshell and it was a little bit undercooked in the middle and it was, and it wasn't very good, I'd be so celebratory. I'd be like, look at what you did, look what you tried. Isn't that exciting that you did this? Like, let's eat the edges. And I might pretend a little bit that it's yummy and then just tell him the dogs ate it or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I'd make sure that he felt that. And interestingly, I know that I've called Dave out quite strongly, but it's really hard for me because of that automatic reaction of because and it's like I go into fight. That's where I go. Like, and you watched it, like if I don't eat well, if I don't feel safe with my food, I go into fight. Like, and it's obviously a nervous system story that my body's got, which is like, you're not safe. You're not cared for, like that kind of thing. So it's the example that I've got is that he once made a stir fry And I personally think stir fries are the easiest things to make because you literally just whack it all in. And the chicken was undercooked and the noodles were still crispy.
I'm pulling a face. I can feel myself like
what
I
do
have
you
a real thing.
mean?
It's interesting because I have a real
Me
yeah,
too.
none of that stuff I can't.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, but I remember like, and I went into that fight, which made me really quite aggressive, and I was quite shitty with him about it. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's not even cooked.
Yeah.
Whereas I guess this is where if I'd had this knowledge now, I might have been able to go. I might have noticed my body doing that, and then been like, hang on, go on. Maybe, even if I'd left the room and got it out myself first, and then come back and been like, I'm really sorry, I can't eat it because of this, but I'm really appreciative that you tried. Do you want to order a takeaway?
Yeah.
And it'd be like that. But he just doesn't have. So he doesn't have the experience and the knowledge and the the life that's taught him to cook, but he also doesn't have the food trauma. Like, he's the kind of guy that I could just give a plate of like, I could just give him like fish fingers and chips and like he'd just eat. It just wouldn't even. He eats fucking frozen chips out of the bag because he's a psychopath. Like, do you know what I mean?
I was
Like,
thinking
he's
of
just
dried
not.
pasta.
I know, dried pasta. He crunches on dried pasta because he just likes it. Like, he's not. He enjoys good food.
Yeah.
And he isn't fucked. Like, he doesn't. So a lot of the time when when you do that thing where you're like, what do you want for dinner? And he's like, oh, I don't mind. He really means that. So then I have to be the person who's like, oh, I do mind. I do mind, and I don't want to eat that. You know, I have to really. So I know that there's chicken in the fridge that needs using, and I know that I've got a tikka sauce there, but I have to talk myself into eating that because it's not something I particularly enjoy. And so it means that, dinner. It's just a lot of energy around meal times for me. So me living on gluten-free chicken nuggets and chips actually it's kind of where I want to be. But I'm also aware that, I'm probably not going to survive very well on that.
Health-wise, maybe not
have to
quite
put
where
vegetables
you want to
in,
be.
but I don't like them. Yeah, it's hard. It's a tricky one. So yeah, so I'm trying to give myself and Dave and Arlo and everybody just the same level of compassion. But it's, your body does things without you knowing.
But that's the bit, Lauren, that you've just said. It was, and I feel like we need to celebrate that you're noticing, where you're going into, that this pattern that you've got, that actually there is this, series of experiences that you've had. I remember that when you were little. I remember, I remember, I feel like I remember being more understanding. I was never somebody that pushed us to stay at the table. For me, it was like, if you didn't like it, I didn't make you eat it. For you, I knew you didn't want gravy on things, and actually, but I remember almost a little battle with people around me who would be like, she's being fussy. But I think because I understood.
Do you remember the nurse who told you I had a problem?
Mm-hmm.
Because she was like, all she eats is cheese, cucumber, and chips, and you were like, she doesn't want to eat anything else.
Yeah, but as a little baby, you'd struggled, because you struggled with a bottle. So
I think I have a tongue tie. Yeah, my tongue doesn't go out very far.
I think you were, and we didn't, and it wasn't until we had Julia, who was your younger sister, that we realised that's probably what it was. But there were also, I think challenges. There's a lot of science behind, the impact of what the mother's going through and the anxiety through pregnancy, and then what happens with the baby. So there's all of that. So I do think there's a lot of that what I experienced a very different pregnancy with you, and and potentially what's happened for your nervous system, and the way that actually that's impacted you. I have sensory food issues. I'm like, there are definitely things that I struggle with. I'm not a big fan of meat. I don't like things that I can't chew properly. I remember as a little girl all of that kind of stuff. So I think that history for you though, and those things, that's what I'm noticing, that you were fussy. That I tell you something that stood out, and I don't know if this is important, was just be a grown up. So there's something about being a grown up and that you should just know.
Yeah. So I always thought you just hit a point where you knew everything.
God help me.
I know.
God help
and
the
you
world.
just don't. I also thought you'd hit a point where that would stop.
That would stop.
So I think I looked forward to being older and being able to
Eat. Why?
I could feel that. I feel really emotional.
I could see that earlier. There was something going on at that point with because that was the bit. Just be a grown up.
Yeah. I think I thought I'd hit a point where I still feel ashamed that I want chicken tenders. That I go to a pub and I don't want to eat. I don't want to eat it. Like, you know, I feel like I should be this kind of person who wants to travel and try different foods and all this kind of stuff, but I just want my margarita pizza. I just want my margarita pizza for my chips. Like, I just want my safe foods. Like, please just give me my...
Who's that?
She's little, isn't she?
She's little.
I just want my safe foods. Just let me have them. Stop trying to push me. And I think then you get older and now I have doctors telling me that I have to eat healthily and do it. And I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to introduce legumes. I don't want to eat butter beans. I don't want to. I don't like them. Don't make me do that, please. And it's like, please don't make me do that. And I thought when I was a grown up, I either thought, number one, people would stop telling me what to eat.
Yeah.
So then I could just do what was safe.
Where's the free will?
Or I thought that I would just grow up and all of a sudden be able to stomach foods I couldn't stomach before. But I just really struggle with textures. So I spent years trying, like, forcing myself into Greek yogurt with fruit. And I just can't. Just can't do it. I can't do the texture of it. I can't do the bitterness of it either. Like, and it's where I feel really childish in it, because it's like it can ruin my day. Like, it can ruin my whole day. And now add in the fact that it can make me really poorly if it's gluten. And I'm like, I'm just so tired. I've always been a foodie. I've always said that I love food because I do love to eat. And I'm so tired that I've hit a point where if you could give me a supplement to take in the morning so I never had to eat again, I would.
Because of the fight.
Because I'm so tired.
I noticed you said something that sounded different there. So what you said was, I think you said I'm a big foodie. Actually, what you said though was, I just like to eat. There's a difference.
What do you mean?
As in, because actually you like to eat.
I do.
Like to eat.
I'm a hungry person.
And that's, so actually
I like being full.
Yeah, why?
I like the experience of being full. I love the warmth that you get after a good meal. So like I love like a really British roast dinner with like cooked chicken and roasties and mash, and even the veg. Like, I love sprouts and carrots and parsnips. Like, and now I love gravy. Like that meal and Yorkshire fucking pudding.
Yeah, and you do an epic Yorkshire pudding.
Gluten-free Yorkshires. If you want the recipe, just let me know.
She's super.
Which, by the way, you can use for gluten-free pancakes. I found out the other day. Also 10 out of 10. So it's like, it's not that I don't want to eat, because I would make that every day, but that's so much effort.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, it's the energy, not the, yeah, I don't know how to explain that. Because it's like, I couldn't afford to have a roast dinner every day. That's really expensive. And I also don't have the time to make a roast dinner every day. But logistically, if I just had a roast dinner every day, that would be fine. Like, I would be fine with that for the rest of my life. Do you know what I would like someone to do? And I don't know if this exists. I would like someone to talk deeply to me about the foods I like. Give me things to try until I can come up with this genuine list of foods I enjoy, safe foods that I like to eat. And then formulate me however many weeks it needs to be to fit. Let's say it's a 2-week plan or a 3-week plan, so you can get it all in. Because my theory is, as long as I was eating all of my nutrients across a period of time, it doesn't need to be daily, but it could be like across 3 weeks. As long as I was getting everything in across those 3 weeks, my body will absorb what it needs to absorb, and then I'll be fine. And then I will follow that menu for the rest of my life. I would never need. You've listened to. I'm not a sucker for variety. But it's the energy that'll go into that to work out what nutrients am I missing. I don't know if I want to try. I don't really want to try that. Do you know what I mean?
actually what you're asking for from your husband is that when you don't have that energy, when
please
you
care
don't
for
have
me in that way.
that's it. It's that, isn't it? So you're wanting him to take that responsibility.
Yeah, but he can't because he doesn't have.
And so then there's the part of you that understands that about him. There's the part of you that looks and goes, I'm not being as compassionate to him as I possibly would be to my son who learns. And so there's this adult part of you that's adapted, that's going, actually,
we need
Lauren,
a bit more compassion.
we need to be a bit more compassionate. We need to look at him. We need to give him a chance to learn, and actually he needs a really nice environment to do that, because nobody learns in an environment where they're being really harsh. Someone's being harsh with him. So
because it just makes him shut down and not want to try again.
And can I say, this is why things feel complex. This is why actually just opening up about it is really important, because actually though, there is also another part of you, the little part of you, littler, and I don't know how little she is, but she was
interestingly
younger.
So the one that's angry is she's the 15-year-old, but she's angry for the sake of the 7-year-old. Yeah. She's the one who, so the 7-year-old sits and she's 6 or 7 and she cries about it because she's sad, and then the 15-year-old gets pissed off that she's crying and she comes out and shouts at everyone. So that's who shouts at Dave. She's forced to be reckoned with.
She is a force to be reckoned with. What's the way forward, Lauren?
I think, to be honest, one of these moments, I keep seeing this thing where it's like when you realise you don't have to keep analysing the path. You're already on it. You just need to keep going. And it is getting better. Little by little by little. And, and this compassion, my husband doesn't listen to the podcast, so he won't hear this anyway. But, continuing remembering and stepping back and being like, let him try, let him do it. Ask him, because he gets excited sometimes when I'm like, oh, do you want to choose like a recipe? And letting him have a go. But then having the compassion for myself to be like, I really appreciate you making this and I can't eat it because it's not right for me. But feel free to, because he did that. He made something, I don't even know what it was. And I was like, I'm so proud of you for making that. That's amazing. Actually, I forgot I did that, but recently he made something. And him and Arlo ate it, and I was like, I can't eat it, like, because of this. I'm really sorry. I was like, but I'm really proud of you, and if you want to take the leftovers for lunch, like, that's great, because that's your dinner and lunch sorted. What I can't eat.
You started to say there about the compassion for you, so that's how that show. In what other ways can that show up for you?
I think you know what it is. I think the part of me that goes, who says? On the days that I'm tired and I want to eat chicken nuggets and chips, fucking eat chicken nuggets and chips. Because it's better, because what happens is I get stuck in the little argument in my head of like, but you're supposed to eat something healthy. You're supposed to eat this. And then the other one goes, but I don't want to, I just want to eat this. But then I end up not eating.
Yeah.
Which then puts me into fight. So then I go to bed fucked off. And then I wake up starving and then I eat shit. So it's this awful cycle. Whereas if I just went, well, what do you actually want? I might go, I want chicken nuggets and chips. And then I might go, okay, do you want to have some peas with that so you've got something green? And I go, yeah, all right.
On the last podcast, it's what reminded me just of what you said on the last podcast. It helps that we record these after
the whimsy.
It was about but also that you were saying about when you got to that fork in the road.
Not rebelling against it, and just asking what you genuinely want.
What do you need? Yeah, what do you want? What do you need?
Yeah.
And asking yourself that. And I think that, we've said before, it sounds so cliche, it's a journey, but actually it's a process of understanding where this perfectionism shows up, isn't it? And the reason for it is it's protection.
Yeah.
That's why we've got all of these, ways of coping with life.
Yeah.
Is because, we needed to protect ourselves. We've needed to, potentially
survive.
live in chaotic times and survive them, and and that's the bit. It's what's holding you back, isn't it? And actually that's what you're noticing. It's the reason that I would suggest that you're talking about it is because you notice it's a stopper in what is a great relationship overall, if you take that bigger picture. And how do I not just have compassion for my husband, have compassion big style for myself, because I understand that this is the journey that I've been on. This is the path that I've been on. These are the experiences that I've had. And actually, what does it need? Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Soz. Don't say soz. Sorry, my little boy says that when I say soz.
But also,
yeah, I'm not sorry.
I was going to say, what's the sorry?
I think just that it was a super chill episode. We did when we were talking about it. We do this at the beginning. We start with these super chill episodes and just end up getting all emotion. We're super overtime today. We apologise for that. If you didn't see it coming,
I'm not going to apologise. I think it's really important for me that we've always said that we'll keep these very real.
Yeah.
The tiredness now
Yeah,
will
I'm
be,
tired,
I can imagine the energy you've just expended there and what's gone. I think that's, for me, this is what it's about, that I want the variety in what we do, that actually there are times that it's important that we just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And that you give you the space, or me the space.
I think the hope for me is always that if someone's listening and they go, oh, I thought it was just me.
Oh, the thing with food, no. And it's really interesting. I want to share something, and I know we've gone over time, but there's part of me wants to go, well, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah.
But also that, the learning for me, because there's so much of this that wasn't understood when I was a little girl, so much that was never spoken about. And, we're going to talk more about Gen X, which is my generation, in future episodes. I'd like to. And I think that's the bit about, that awareness, the more that we've looked at things and we've had conversations in the past, that I recognise these things in myself.
Yeah.
I think can't remember now if it was you and I, or we were having a conversation. We were talking about beef, and we were talking about a good beef stew, weren't we? And I could feel myself, like the
fear of it being really chewy.
Yeah, I struggle with the textures.
Yeah.
So it's, that, I think that's the part, isn't it? Actually, that little part in me she is going. I can even going, finally. It's like, it's okay, it's all right. And it's funny, because just to mention about the perfectionism, because I think I can relate a lot to it. And it was interesting last night, even we went and did the most beautiful thing. Lauren bought me, and Dave bought me a Christmas present that was block printing. So
good.
We prayed that Storm Goretti, or whatever it is, was gonna not be around until we kind of got home, and we just hit the edge of it, didn't we, on the way back. But we went to a gorgeous little place,
Wrexham Interiors.
Yeah, Wrexham Interiors. A big shout out. He won't listen to the podcast, but yeah, Peter, he was fabulous. And it ended up being just you and I, didn't it, in this incredible space in Retford Hall.
Yep.
And we did block printing, and and it was just what you just said there that really struck me about the practice, because when we first sat down, I am not practiced at being creative. Lauren, super practiced. She is outstanding. Like, when I watch Lauren create something, and her sister, I am just gobsmacked, and actually a stepsister as well, I'd just like to point out, and a dad. It just amazes me when I watch them, and I know that I'm creative in other ways, and that's absolutely fine. And we sat down at this block printing, and I had this real moment, because Lauren was already, I could see her getting excited about some of the blocks, what she was going to create, and I froze. I froze. I talked about it. I actually talked with Peter, didn't I?
Yeah,
because
you stood up.
And I said to him, because I felt overwhelmed, because my initial reaction was, I'm no good at this. I could feel myself going into flight. I'm no good at this. Then it was like, oh my God, I'm now overwhelmed. I was sat, and Lauren's already started doing, and I'm just literally sat with my hands on the paper thinking, I don't know where to go. And I thought, do you know what I need to do? Get up. So I stood up, and I walked around. I can feel myself breathing now as I did it. I walked around the table, I took a look, and then I talked about it. And I just said, I'm noticing that I'm feeling overwhelmed. There's a lot here. There's a part of my brain going, I'm not going to be as good as Lauren. I can hear my little girl. So I'm not as good as that. And he was amazing, wasn't he? I've got to say, we just had the best conversation with him. And we both came home with these amazing, and I'm going to say that because interestingly for me, once I allowed that to go, and I wasn't comparing myself to Lauren, because I how can I? We don't have the same experiences. I already knew what I wanted. There was a flower pattern, wasn't there?
It's beautiful.
I wanted just this simplicity, and was able to admire Lauren's, because, my God, they look stunning. And we came away with 3 cards, didn't we?
A gift bag, and
a gift tag, and a wallpaper roll, chunk worth of like our patterns and our practices and stuff like that, which I'm pretty certain you're going to see in the future with things like that. But I think it's that, isn't it? I think what really struck me, because perfectionism's been a big thing for me. When you were talking earlier about not being able to start things, that's where perfectionism and procrastination go hand in hand. It's all emotion based. It's this fear One that it's not going to be good enough, one that maybe I don't know where to start, so there's all of these things that happen. And I think come back to what we say right the way through all of this is honouring what we're noticing in our bodies. And for me, the fear that I'm not enough is a biggie with that. So if I don't do this well enough, people are not going to like me. If I'm not good enough at this, then so that for me is, so just don't even start it, because if people, if I don't do it, and
no one can be disappointed in me.
No one can be disappointed in me. No one can shout at me. No one can be,
I don't have to
reject
feel ashamed
me.
of it.
It's all of that. So I think there's a massive thing, isn't it? And I think that's what we're wanting to do in these conversations, is show people it's so much more normal.
Yeah, it's so normal.
It's so normal.
And there's ways through them to make them slightly easier.
It's a way through it.
And
recover. So I say this often, it's recovering quicker. So the more that we kind of are able to do this in a really safe environment where we can have a conversation, know that someone's got capacity to listen and, all of that, and actually be able to recover quicker and ultimately preempt then. Oh, I'm going into this situation. I'm likely to, what do I need to do to help myself with this? And that as well. But I just want to say thank you. I feel honoured. I know, as mother and daughter, you think, it's challenging sometimes to have these conversations. It's challenging, I know, for you, and yet it's challenging in the sense of, what do I want to share? What do I want to say? For me, sometimes it's challenging because I feel this sense of, I didn't protect you. And yet I know I couldn't in every aspect, and also there are things that I I've learned and I realise, and if I could turn back the clock, of course I'd turn back and I would do it differently. The thing is, that's not reality.
Also, no, because then we wouldn't be here, would we?
We wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't have the trauma of sharing the podcast if we didn't go through it.
For sure. Well, there you go. You can have a cackle at the end.
False.
Look at us. We bookend everything with a cackle. Oh, and a strange noise.
It was a klaxon.
Klaxon. Cool. Well, that's maybe got a lot of people thinking. We'd love to hear from you. Sharing experiences. If there's anything,
and also like if you've got kids who are struggling with it, they do turn out all right, promise. And it isn't a you thing.
No,
it isn't that you didn't give them enough stuff when they were younger, or you didn't. Like for a lot of kids, it's just not that. Just give yourself a break.
I want to say that it's a lot more complex, and I think that's the bit, isn't it? Because this is not about, I'm not looking and I'm not carrying this guilt. I feel these moments, and I feel this sadness, and I'm not saying I don't ever feel guilt. Of course I do.
It's nice actually, because my little boy has it. Yeah, sensory thing with food, so he'll try it and go, oh. And I'm like, oh, that's okay.
You're far more understanding, and I'm like because super chill, you've got that knowledge and awareness. I didn't have it.
Yeah.
So that's where actually that compassion.
It's nice.
It is that. So we're going to go, because Lauren's going to yawn. So anyway, take care, and we'll speak to you soon.
Love you, bye.